ChatGPT thinks that I should come up with a gaming channel that talks about gaming, tech, different ideas around that, why I would be using this certain technology. And ChatGPT thinks that I am the perfect fit for that, and I'm wondering if I am or not. And I'm trying to come up with a bunch of different names, gaming, all that stuff. But I finally just settled on Studio Hiccups because it was something that I had chosen before for a studio channel that I had before for making studios, putting it together and putting them, making them work and all that, and whatever problems you have, figuring that out. All right. So my name is Mike, and I am, possibly going to be making that that channel. It might be a thing, possibly, but I don't know that I'm cut out for it, not yet anyway. And I don't want to be the kind of person that searches for content just to see what I can review to be able to get views. I want to do stuff that I'm actually interested in, so that way I don't bore you and I don't get bored as well. So let's just start with talking about the games that I like to play. First of all, let's start with a love-hate relationship that I have with Fortnite. So sometimes I feel like the glitchy atmosphere that is Fortnite seems to get into the gameplay, and you die unfairly oftentimes. Or some people just know how to glitch the system and get lucky when they're playing. And that's fine. It's all good. That makes me want to delete the game. And I do every once in a while. I've even deleted my account and had to start new. Actually, almost deleted it. I had left something else to hold that account that I had forgotten about. And it was on my Switch. My Switch is the reason why I still have all this. So, there's been multiple times where I have sold basically all my technology, except for the gaming consoles that I was going to let my kids play on. I ended up not being able to sell my PlayStation 4, and that made it to where I continued to play my favorite game, Destiny. And Destiny and Fortnite were being played often on that console. And so I've been going back and forth between using the PS4 and my PlayStation 5 and my Xbox Series S. Sometimes I play on my son's Xbox Series X. Yes, I gave him the better console. I gave my daughter the PlayStation 5, which I really like. And I don't have a whole bunch of different controllers. I was very interested in buying a better grippy controller that I had purchased for the Xbox Series S and X to be able to play Destiny. And I don't know where that controller went. It was a really good controller. I loved it. And I've noticed that for a while, I've been having a little bit of wrist issues with the Xbox style controller. I think the PlayStation controller is probably going to be a little bit better because it's got a bigger size, a bigger grip. But then again, all of a sudden I think about price, and I think about, how can I make sure that I am successful in life and know my direction, my path that I'm supposed to take. Start a business aside from gaming. Gaming keeps sucking me in. It's pulling my life away from me, basically, kind of thing. And then I start watching people like Dave Ramsey and wanting to sell all my tech again and again, and my phones, and get rid of them. And because I love, mobile technology, and I have a bunch of watches, almost all the Pixel watches. I have right now I'm using iPhone, Apple stuff. This is the Ultra. So I'm very, I like to get new things and use the better version of tech if it's available, except for I don't find myself being able to pull the plug. No. Choose to buy, however you want to say it, the PlayStation 5 Pro. PlayStation 5 Pro is too much money. I don't know. Like, for me, I game in 1080p, right? So all I want is something to be smooth, 60 frames per second, 1080p. So I haven't experienced anything else. So I'm pretty sure I would find it like an even better experience if I got a PC and was streaming games and playing at 120 when it's available frames per second, playing in 4K, all that stuff, which is what the PlayStation 5 Pro can do, I believe, 4K 120, and yeah. But I don't see myself really needing to do it because I feel like it's going to pull me away from what I really, really want, is to feel like I'm successful and not failing as a dad, as a person, being able to be respect myself, right? Not being respected by other people. So I feel like the whole gaming idea and everything around it, because I haven't really done anything with it professionally, it feels like just a draw on my ability to feel like I matter, right? Almost. So, and I'm reminded of that when I fail in playing Fortnite, or when I'm playing Destiny on, hours on end, which I have on Destiny 1. I have just about like 4,900 hours played on that. And then I think I have 1,500 hours played on Destiny 2. So I did cut back, but still, that's a lot of hours. Like, I've played so much on that thing to where my face starts to go numb for whatever reason, like right in here, and my eyes are bloodshot. My hands never really are affected too much, not from what I can tell, not really, but I do notice that my shoulders will sag a little bit, and they'll start to hurt because of the joints being pulled away by gravity just sitting on my shoulders and not exercising on a regular basis. And that's another thing too, is there's got to be balance. You've got to be able to make sure that you can pull away from it. And I love the idea of being able to chill and game with my kids and stuff, and other people if they're chill, but for me, my idea of a great time gaming is knowing exactly what I'm going to do, not having to research too much about what I have to do. But if I do research what I have to do and it takes too long to go ahead and complete whatever it is the task is that needs to be done, then I won't want to go do it. So it's got to be like, research this, see a YouTube video on how to do it, boom, get that done within the next 10 minutes. That's awesome. So yeah, that is basically me in a nutshell, is like figuring out how to do problem solving and liking to play games and stuff. But problem solving is a major part of it. So if there's different things on this channel that you would want to see, that you have ideas for me to do, hopefully I'll see somebody say something about it. Maybe not, no problem, either way. I have more to say about this. I know there's more I should say, I'm not sure what to say, except for the fact that I like PlayStation a lot. I think PlayStation's my favorite, but PlayStation costs me money to be able to play online, whereas playing on free-to-play games on my Xbox, I don't have to have a Game Pass in order to play on PlayStation, or in order to play Destiny 2. PlayStation, you have to have some sort of Plus membership, the premium or just the essentials, and you can play Destiny, but you have to pay for it. So $80 a month for essentials on PlayStation versus $0 on Xbox. I grew up playing Halo, and I really liked that gaming controller feel, how the thumbstick was on the left-hand side up on top, but that is starting to hurt my hand a little bit because I think that controller is a little bit small. So the DualSense controller might be the one I have to use on PlayStation, so I might be forced to play that anyway. And I think there's a lot of options on PlayStation. If I wanted to play with an Xbox style console or gaming controller, I could find a controller that would do that. But something in me likes to use the actual stock controllers. I don't know, I just feel like it's the best way to go. I was using Control Freaks for a while. I feel like that might help me in the grip of my hand and everything, but I've noticed that I really like just playing with the original joysticks that the controllers have. So I think that is the way to go for me going forward. I've really adjusted, and by the time that by the time the controllers, joysticks wear out, which I've never done because I've always used Control Freaks when I was playing a whole lot. But by the time the sticks wear out, I think it's time to get a new controller anyway, right? And I think you could just buy new joysticks anyways. So what it comes down to is I really like PlayStation and how many games you have on there. I love Gran Turismo. Destiny 2 and Fortnite can be played on any console, so it's totally fine. It's just, I guess, basically have to choose the user interface, right? I like how easy Xbox is, though. Something about the menu, everything, how it just works is nice. But PlayStation is also really, really good. It's got a good user interface. The only thing is if you're streaming games, I've never tried it on Xbox, but I've heard from ChatGPT that it's better for gaming audio and chat audio to be played through. It's easier to get it through the Xbox. If you want to have your gaming chat, so people playing with you, as well as your actual game, then Xbox is the one to go with. I'm not sure. But I've tried it with Sony, and you have to have a special something to be able to make it to where you can hear game chat and the audio from the game, because only one signal can be sent through HDMI, which is fine because you can get that workaround. But I know that some people are here thinking, nah, man, just go ahead and just get a PC, stream through your PC. That's how but I don't have the money to do it. Maybe eventually I can. That's not a bad way to do it. Then I would go that way. That's awesome, because then it solves a lot of problems for me. But to be honest, I don't want to become a streamer. So so PlayStation, I believe, is the way I'm going to go. Long term, I really like PlayStation. I have a Meta Quest 3, and I don't know why I'm talking about all like what I have right now, but I have the Meta Quest 3. I finally got it. There's a lot of fun games on it, but I never play it. The most I've ever done with that thing is basically make sure that it continues to stay charged. That way it can get updates and continuously get the games that I was purchasing. I had the $7.99 pass, $7.99 pass for Meta, and I was getting all the games and stuff, and I stopped that. So yeah, all right. So studio Hiccups, I love the name studio, and any problems that go on in the studio. So your studio could be like, I guess, for your gaming setup, your lighting, recording, all the tech that you use, and the money that you have to spend and why you're spending it, and thinking about all the different things that cause hiccups in life, and how gaming could get in the way, or how life can get in the way of gaming. Maybe it is that something that you should seriously take seriously. And like if I'm watching Spawn Point and I notice that he has 101 platinum trophies, that is insane. That's like, okay, that means you 100%ed 101 games. That's not easy to do. Like that's the understatement of a lifetime, saying that that's not easy to do. Of course that's like you could probably finish a bunch of college courses within that time. So for somebody to do that, like Spawn Point, and his ability to go ahead and talk over everything that he's doing, about everything he's doing, about his accomplishments, about what his vision is, that's the kind of stuff I want to do as well. But I feel like there can only be one Spawn Point, and there can only be one studio Hiccups. So that's the direction I want to go, but I'm sure that I'm going to get tired of that, bored of that, where Spawn Point doesn't. Like, that's insane. That guy is driven to, and he understands, he's dialed in what it is that he does. I love his content. It's so good. So, congrats to you, Spawn Point, for, doing what you do. And thank you for inspiring me as well. But I've been trying video or YouTube for since 2013, 2012, something like that, off and on, doing different things. I finally created a tech channel, and I started to make videos about, mobile technology and things like that. And that lost my interest. Like, eventually, it's like, okay, I don't care anymore. But I feel like with gaming, it's always stuck around. I need to talk about it. I need to understand why it has such a big hold on me. And also, why it is that in life, we tend to need something, right? There's something that we all need, and it's a matter of understanding what it is and why. And that's kind of what I'm like all about. And I don't know why I get pulled into these games. It's like instant gratification. It is. And but it's more than that. But yet I still want to fight it, because I know the culture, the underlying culture that we live in right now doesn't really truly accept games in a way to be successful in life, right? That's what it feels like. And gaming in general, talking about any of the games or anything at all. So therefore, me just simply talking about tech leads me to feel like I'm leading you down a path that I wouldn't recommend for myself, right? Because maybe you shouldn't be gaming, right? Maybe you should be doing something else with your life, possibly. And I would hope that this channel would help you decide on what you could possibly go do instead of the gaming that you would do. But for me, I keep getting pulled back into gaming. And I feel like there's something in it that I'm supposed to do as far as the tech side of it, not necessarily the game side of it. And being able to help other people that are dealing with this as well. I have kids that are on Fortnite, and there's different things that, have to be dealt with that as well. And, there's all kinds of different topics that I would want to cover as far as all that goes. But I don't know exactly, the whole idea of this channel and what it could be or what it should be. But I do know that it's a place where there's a lot of people searching for what it means to truly potentially eventually show up in life. But there's also a lot of people that are successful in life but are also gaming, and it's a place to release stress and discomfort, and and that's okay too. So I can't say that there's only one reason somebody's on gaming. So I won't be a complete distraction. So that's a lot of thoughts, a lot of things for somebody to have to deal with. And I'm just going to sit here for about 10 seconds, 15 seconds, and bite on my nail, which I shouldn't do, while I'm thinking about, and while you're thinking about what I've been talking about here. So I didn't think at all about it. Actually, my mind is blank because I've pretty much spent my mental capacity on trying to put together words and continuously talk, maybe even in a monotone way. Hopefully I haven't. But I've been talking over this with ChatGPT over and over again and going through different ideas and different things. And I constantly talk about, like, should I do coffee? Should I do lawn care? Mowing. And I have an understanding of economics that I didn't have before because of reading books on Audible and things like that. And maybe even I can talk about, while talking about tech and showing the tech that I use, I could talk about, the different things that I learn on Audible, because there's so much to know. There's so many books to read, and there's so much information to filter that could be easily filtered by somebody that has somewhat of a grasp on it, but not completely, because my perspective is somewhat hindered by my perspective, right? So my outlook is hindered by my perception of what it is that's going on, and what I hear and how I see things. So there is a certain filter that you're going to be seeing things through if I do talk about it. But for instance, I'll give you a good example. Phil Knight, the creator of Nike, back in 1972, started out with Blue Ribbon, and to make things short, he came up with with Nike after that. And when he had Nike factories, Phil Knight wrote Shoe Dog. If you're interested, you can go listen to Shoe Dog. I believe you can get it free, the first book free on Audible if you sign up. You can just go buy it on Amazon. I don't know, whatever you want to do. If you want to read it or listen to it, either way, it's a good read. But in the book, he says in the like near the end, he wanted to pay. This is relating to economics, by the way. He wanted to pay people more money for working in their factories, and the governments told him no. They said, there's no way that we can allow you to pay people in our factories more than what a doctor gets paid. And I'm like, wait a minute, put the brakes on here. I understand different cultures see things differently, and that's fine. They're allowed to. But there's something wrong here. Just because of your job, your title, it doesn't mean that you're more of an important person. You can get paid whatever the employee or employer wants to pay you, right? That makes sense. And especially a doctor goes to work with shoes on. Oh, so obviously, the doctor can't do its job without the shoe worker. So who's more important, right? The shoe worker only needs a doctor when something bad happens to his body. Okay, so who's more important? All right. So, and then also the other thing is, if a shoe worker goes to, make his shoes, then that means that he gets to make shoes that are so valuable. People can exercise, go walk, do whatever, do their jobs, and then stay out of the hospital, hopefully. And then I thought, well, wait a minute, is there a conspiracy then? Do they want people to go to the hospital? Do they want them to be sick because they want to pay the doctor more money, more than the shoemaker? But then that's not it either. So all of these things make sense if you look at it from a perspective, a certain filter, a certain way of seeing things, right? But you have to look at it in the view of economics. Okay, so I'll break this down ever so slightly, and in the way that ChatGPT kind of broke it down. In so many words. I had to come to this conclusion myself pretty much. But it's not the value of the person, it's the value of the job they're doing. And so if I could put this in a better way, if let's say that the person is doing a job that is high paid and is for one company, okay? So Nike goes over and is paying over. So they're paying their employees a lot of money, which is fine. I love it. But what about the other factories that need to now compete with Nike, right? So the price has to go up. In order for them to keep their employees, the price that they sell their shoes for also has to increase, right? So now the shoes prices have to go up. Shoe sales will go down, okay? And thus, we need less workers. So less workers in that industry. In the long term, maybe that's a good thing. But the effect that has on economics is a bad thing. Because here's the thing is what you have to compare it is, it's the barrier to entry. What's the barrier to entry for a doctor? Schooling, being able to find a place, a hospital to be able to, go work, and getting a good job, really, and being able to have the brain to be able to actually put the information together, to be able to, and the drive to do it. So the barrier to entry to be a doctor is really high. So therefore, that means that a lot of people aren't going to be going to that, okay? But the barrier to entry for a shoemaking job is lower. Like a lot lower, because that means that you can just go in 2 weeks, a month, 2 months, a year even, to make a decent shoe is all it takes. to be a shoemaker. So that means that there's going to be a lot more opportunity for that industry to be affected faster because of the higher wages that are being paid instantly. So it would offset and mess with the economy, which is what was told to Nike when they decided to start paying their employees higher. And so people found out about it here in America and then said, hey, look at Nike not paying their the people that are in factories, basically sweatshops. They're paying them terrible wages. So it's a matter of perspective, and it's a matter of being able to see what the true effect is, right? Imagine if we had all these, now all these factories are Americanized, and which is fine, but it has to do with their culture. So what does the culture accept also, right? So these people, there's so much that's wrapped around the being like paying people a certain amount of money based on where they are working. So like a barista, or not the barista owner, but the barista, there's a cap, right? Because coffee, imports here, if you pay coffee farmers, and I don't know too much about this, but I do know from reading, listening to books about the coffee industry. I forget what the name of the industry or what the name of the book is, but it's talking about, and also, listening to the fall in 1929, the depression, what caused the depression, and the stock market and how it fell out and stuff, and understanding that, it all leads me to kind of understand how the coffee market works. And how the farmers, they're on a fair pay. So sweetmarias.com, they have a way to be able to pay their farmers directly, and they pay their farmers a little bit more money. But what happens is if the farmers get paid more money, then they're gonna, and their demand, their price goes up, their demand's gonna drop. So that means that the amount of coffee that can be made is going to be lower. It means coffee prices are going to increase. That means that as soon as the coffee prices increase, that means that the demand of the coffee is probably going to reduce a little bit, or be less accessible to a lot of people. And thus, what's going to happen is those people are not going to be buying as much coffee. And so that means there's going to be excess coffee that the farmers can't sell. And so what happens when you have a lot of product? The prices drop. Okay, so then, but yet these farmers are going to be paid more money. So there's a problem with just going ahead and starting to just like pay more money for something, right? You pay for what you pay what the value is, and so the government would regulate, the influx and how much coffee was available, and still is, I believe. I'm not sure exactly how they do it now. I don't know completely all that much about that, but there's a lot of things you got to think about when it comes to the import and export of coffee. So that's my really small understanding of economics. I know there's probably a lot more to it, and I don't even see, like, I'm sure there is, but I'm wanting to learn. And these are the kind of like conversations I like to have, but I like to talk about, right? These are the topics I like to talk about, not necessarily conversations I like to have. Let's get that straight, because there's a lot of things to be said by a lot of different people and how they think, and a lot of feelings and emotions get involved, and the facts might start to escape a little bit, which, I don't know. I may not know anything. I could be just saying, the complete wrong thing about everything that I just said about economics at all. So I didn't get a good grade in economics, so I don't completely understand it. But I love the idea of understanding it. It's really, really cool stuff. Very interesting. Very interesting. And I don't know why I can't talk right now. I think it's because I need water, and you probably need to drink some water too. But yeah, I guess I will post this video. And it's been I've been talking about a lot of stuff. I've got more to say, more to talk about, and I don't know if anybody's going to be interested in this. I'm pretty sure I have nobody that's going to be watching this video. Nobody. At all. And I don't blame you. So my name is Mike, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care. Have a good day. Have fun gaming. And make sure that gaming doesn't get in the way of your life, and that your life doesn't get in the way of gaming. All right. We'll see you later.